Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit, and it is a first round match in the tournament to determine the new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Sarasota, Florida, and weighs in tonight at 237 pounds, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Former champion Randy Savage has not been inside that squared circle on this channel ever since he lost that belt to Brock Lesnar. And there's nothing that Randy Savage would love more than to prevail in this tournament, to win 4 matches in a row and get his hand raised at the end of it and become the new Pastgen Television Champion. And there you can see 2 first round matches here tonight. Randy Savage against Mark Jindrak, and then straight after this match the British Bulldog will be taking on Logan Paul. The winners of these 2 matches will face each other in the first quarter final, which will take place Friday night. You can't think about the quarter final, you can only look at the challenge ahead of you. Any slip ups here, your chances of becoming champion are over in the blink of an eye. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, he hails from Auburn, New York, and weighs in tonight at 253 pounds, Mark Jindrak. Well, Mark Jindrak, not necessarily a name you'd associate with championships and world titles, but I'll tell you what, Mark Jindrak at 6'6", 253, a man who's been in the professional wrestling game for quite a few years. When you've got those physical credentials and that level of experience, he could have a dream run here, and if he does, he could very well be the man to walk away as the new Pastgen Television Champion. Any of these 16 men that entered this tournament certainly walk away, and that's what makes these knockout tournaments so interesting. It's anybody's game, it's a level playing field. And look at that, Jindrak trying to catch Randy Savage by surprise with a quick clothesline. Savage not going to fall for such an easy trick. A man with Savage's level of experience in the ring, multiple time world champion, former Pastgen Television Champion. Look at this, Jindrak now going behind Savage, punches to the spine, and the Macho Man goes tumbling down to the canvas. And look at Jindrak, he's certainly full of confidence. Might not like it, but it's an important aspect in any sport. If you do not have that self-belief, soon get found out by your opponents. As now Jindrak dropping the elbows across the chest of the Macho Man. And look at Jindrak, he is really full of confidence going into this match. And thus far he's got every right to be. Randy Savage has not had a good start to this match. Lateral press, shoulders down, and Savage there close to being eliminated from this tournament just in the first round. Jindrak really doing a number on him as he now sends Randy Savage for the ride off the ropes. Beautiful tilt-a-whirl slam there by Jindrak. Jindrak doing the right thing every time he hits a move that he thinks might be enough to put Savage away. He goes for the cover, and we nearly had it again. A couple of times there, Randy Savage has been dangerously close to coming out of this match, but he wasn't there. Jindrak completely missing that elbow drop. Poor moves there. Jindrak still in control though, and look at that. Now going to work on the arm of Randy Savage. Savage really having a lot of problems coping with a big 6'6" man from Auburn, New York. As now Jindrak going for the Irish whip. Nice reversal by Savage. And now Savage going for the right hands, looking to brawl with the big man. Another right hand by Savage. And now the Macho Man with a headlock and several punches right to the face. Oh, Savage started poorly in this one. The question is, can he turn it around? Well, nice high knee to the face. This is what Savage has got to do now. He senses a little bit of weakness. He's gained an advantage. He's now got to capitalise on that. He's seen what happens if he doesn't do his job properly against Jindrak. Nice hip toss by the Macho Man. Now Randy Savage going up top, perched on the top rope, looking to hit a big move. Goes for the double axe handle. Well, that is poor. That is really poor by Savage. Maybe a little bit of ring rust at play. Completely overshooting the distance for that double axe handle, and now punished with it. Punished for that mistake by Jindrak with a spine buster. Now Jindrak looking to put the figure 4 on Savage. Savage kicking him away. Sleeper hold applied now. Savage is trying to slow it down, gain a second and regain his composure here because things are not going his way. Jindrak a long way from the ropes, he can't quite reach them. I think Savage just needs to calm down, let those nerves go away and try and settle into this match as he dives off the top rope. Beautiful double axe handle by the Macho Man, nails it beautifully that time. Now goes up top once again. Savage trying another double axe handle and once again falling completely short. This time though managing to keep Jindrak at bay. Disaster averted there by the Macho Man because he could have really suffered in the hands of Jindrak after that mistake. But now Savage hits the scoop slam. The Macho Man going to the top rope, looking to hit the big finish. The beautiful Savage elbow, nail right to the heart. The cover's made, the shoulders are down, and Randy Savage victorious here. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Randy Savage, our first quarter-finalist. And in a few moments we're going to find out who will be quarter-finalist number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. And it is a first-round match in the tournament to determine the new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, from Manchester, England, he weighs in tonight at 260 pounds, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Well, another former champion in Davey Boy Smith, and another man that lost his belt to Brock Lesnar. Davey Boy Smith said he'd love nothing more than to regain that belt, and we actually got a brief word with Davey Boy earlier today. British Bulldog's the name, wrestling is the game. And tonight, I'm going to beat 16 other superstars and regain what is rightfully mine, the Pastgen Television Championship. And no man can stop the British Bulldog. Well, Davey Boy's certainly full of confidence, and he thinks he can go on to win this. Although I think his opponent tonight will beg to differ. Introducing his opponent, he hails from Westlake, Ohio, and weighs in tonight at 205 pounds, Logan Paul. Oh, Logan Paul, an influencer turned wrestler. I'll tell you what, he's turned wrestler pretty damn well. Somebody that's not had that much experience inside that squared circle. He's took to the sport like a duck to water. And Logan Paul, for what he lacks in experience, he makes up for in cunning. Logan Paul capable of surprising any opponent of any experience level. It wouldn't surprise me if Logan Paul could go all the way here. Really could surprise his opponent and go on to become the new champion. But Davey Boy Smith, former champion. Both men fancy the chances of winning this whole thing after this match. One of them is going to be disappointed. And look at Davey Boy. Early exchange, and the more powerful of the two men, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Someone that many people call pound for pound the strongest man to ever set foot inside that ring. Coming out on top as Davey Boy now picking Logan up. Nice sidewalk backbreaker there by the Bulldog. Davey Boy Smith, another man that would love nothing more than to regain that prestigious belt. As now Davey Boy sending Logan Paul for the ride off the ropes. But look at that nice reversal by Paul. And he's very pleased with himself after that move. The fans didn't appreciate it. Now Logan trying to go to work on the Bulldog. Oh, kind of roll up. Bulldog just powering out of that move though. And now look at Logan. Full Nelson sweeping the leg. Trying to go to the top rope, but Davey Boy getting there first. Collar and elbow tie up by the Bulldog. Headlock takedown. And now the Bulldog really going to work on Logan Paul. Again, it's not been a dominant performance thus far from Davey Boy Smith, who now goes on the rope. Beautiful, beautiful shoulder block by the Bulldog. Bulldog looking to take over in this match now. Just trying to wear him down and slow down the pace of the match, because I think the slower pace would certainly benefit Davey Boy more than it would Logan Paul. Logan Paul likes to hit all of those athletic moves. Lateral press now by the Bulldog, shoulders down, but Logan Paul, very, very early and quick kick out there. Davey Boy Smith trying to brawl with him. Nice block on the right hand by Logan Paul, who does have some boxing experience. Well, there's no sport that teaches you that. A low blow. And now on the top rope, looking to hit a big move. Tries the moonsault, but didn't really catch it cleanly. Now Davey Boy sending him for the ride off the ropes. Logan ducks the clothesline, comes back, springboard. Springboard reverse DDT by Logan Paul. What a devastating maneuver. Well, I was going to say, would that be enough to put Davey Boy away? But Davey Boy giving him a taste of his own medicine with a low blow. And now Davey Boy perched on the top rope, waiting for him to get to his feet. And nails a beautiful diving clothesline. He's finished many men off with that move. And you can add Logan Paul to that list as well. Davey Boy Smith victorious here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit, and it is a first round match in the tournament to determine a new Pastgen television champion. Introducing first, he hails from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and weighs in tonight at 287 pounds, Brock Lesnar. Well, Brock Lesnar, former champion, and the reason that this tournament is a necessity. Brock Lesnar losing that Pastgen television title to Goldberg. You won't mind if Goldberg got injured in that match, but that's not how it happened. Before that match, Lesnar attacking Goldberg in the parking lot, slamming his leg into a car door and causing an injury which just forced Goldberg to vacate the title. There aren't many people in this tournament I wouldn't want to see walk away with that belt, but Brock Lesnar is probably the only one. His opponent from San Diego, California, he weighs in tonight at 200 pounds, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Well, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the son of Rey Mysterio, a man that he certainly fell out of favour with his actions of late. Before we get into this match, let's see. We've got the first round match here first. Brock Lesnar versus Dominic Mysterio. And then straight after this match, two legends set to square off. Roddy Piper against Ric Flair. The two winners of these matches will face off in the second quarterfinal match, which will take place on Friday night. A very, very unusual contest in the sense that normally there's one person that the fans gravitate to, one that they don't like. I'm not sure who they're supposed to like more. I think it's a matter of who they hate the least, and I think Dominic Mysterio may win out in that scenario. And Brock Lesnar now really going after Dominic Mysterio. Lesnar couldn't hold on to the belt against Goldberg, but he made sure that he injured the man, and of course those antics will not be repeated during this tournament. The commissioner has told Brock Lesnar in no uncertain terms, if he gets involved with any wrestler involved in this tournament, in between the bell ringing to start the match and the bell ringing to end the match, he will be immediately fired and will be taken out of this tournament. So Brock Lesnar needs to be on his best behaviour, but unfortunately once again it's too little too late. Action taken too late, and Brock Lesnar getting away with murder once again as Dirty Dominic Mysterio now managing to wriggle away from Brock Lesnar. He was having a real hard time there, and now Dominic going to take advantage of the count out rule. He's got to the count of 10 and he just needs a second to regroup here. Things not going his way, now coming back in. But more of the same here for Dominic Mysterio. And now look at Lesnar sliding Dirty Dom outside of the ring. Bit of mat burn against the torso. And now look at Lesnar taking it to the outside, sending him right over those steel ring steps. Well, as much as I don't like Brock Lesnar, there's one thing you can't deny about the man. He is phenomenal inside and outside of that squared circle. And as much as I don't want to see him prevail in this tournament, it's a very real and sad possibility, as now Brock Lesnar really just dominating this match. Dominic Mysterio hasn't got a prayer here as Lesnar picks him up, nails him with a vicious powerbomb. And Lesnar firmly in control here, barring some sort of miracle. He's going to defeat him and prevail to the quarterfinals, and this doesn't look good here for Dirty Dom. Lesnar picking him up and nails the F5. Well, I don't see Dom kicking out of this. I think we've got our third quarterfinalist, and we have Brock Lesnar victorious and advances in the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Brock Lesnar. Well, unfortunately, Brock Lesnar could be the man to walk away with that belt. Fingers crossed, hopefully not. But next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an enjoyable contest. Two legends set to square off to fight it out for a place in the quarterfinals. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit, and it is a first round match in the tournament to determine the new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Glasgow, Scotland, and weighs in tonight at 230 pounds, Roddy Piper. The legendary Roddy Piper, one of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots and step inside that squared circle. And he's going to face a very close personal friend of his and another legend, an all-time great. What a match this is going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he weighs in tonight at 243 pounds, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Talk about legends, Ric Flair. No man on this planet has held more World Wrestling Championships than that man you are looking at, styling and profiling his way down the aisle. Just because certain organisations don't like to count some of those title reigns, we certainly do, and we recognise them. Ric Flair, maybe the greatest of all time. But Roddy Piper, some may consider him to be the greatest of all time. And maybe that debate is going to be settled once and for all here in this match. Ric Flair has held many championships, has achieved pretty much everything there is to do in this business, except for one thing. He has never held that Pastgen television title, perhaps the most prestigious belt of all. And he's going to get the opportunity to finish his resume, to complete that list of career achievements and go down as an even bigger legend than he already is. As the bell rings, and this is going to be some contest, I guarantee you that, with these two men in the ring as they lock up now. And Flair coming out on top in that exchange, and look at that, the Flair flop. Well, these two men have wrestled thousands of matches in their years. Not quite sure who's wrestled the most. And look at that, Piper showing off those boxing skills. Piper in his youth, former amateur Golden Gloves boxing champion in his local area. Piper at 15 left home, became a professional wrestler. He's fighting grown men at the age of 15. As now Piper sends Flair for the ride off the ropes. Look at Flair going behind, backslide covers made, but Piper's feet close to the ropes, and look at that, a chop by Piper. Flair returning one. Oh, look at that, Piper once again going to those, throwing those fists, throwing those hands, and now a nice drop kick by the Rowdy One. And now Piper with Flair on the ground. Well, very, very close. Let's call it the very lower abdomen, because I'm sure that's what Piper would call it. And now Piper with right hands to the face of Ric Flair. I'll tell you what, these two might be friends outside of that ring, but they both know what it means to get in that ring. They both know what that opportunity means. None of them are going to be holding back and taking it easy. Look at that, chop by Piper. Flair returns one of his own. Well, real back and forth stuff here. And look at Piper now, couple Flair with two chops of his own. Flair really going to work on Piper now, and now look at this. Roddy Piper being choked along that middle rope, and the winner of this match, remember, will go on to face Brock Lesnar in the quarterfinals. Either of these two opponents would make a fantastic match for that quarterfinal. And both of them have enough experience under the belt to be capable of beating a man like Brock Lesnar. At the moment it looks to be Flair taking advantage. I'm really going to work on that leg of Piper. You've got to believe that's in preparation to try and lock in that figure 4 leg lock. Tries carrying on, but Piper managing to find his way to his feet, now nailing Flair with a clothesline. Flair trying to get up, and a big kick to the ribs by Piper. Piper now sending Flair into the corner. What is he doing now? Look at that hand around the throat. Roddy Piper choking Ric Flair, and the referee having to step in there. Well, Flair may be the dirtiest player in the game, but Roddy Piper's a pretty close second in that department as the shoulders are down. Ric Flair managing to get the shoulder up. Piper very close there to finishing off the Nature Boy. And now Piper once again, the very, very lower abdomen, the lowest regions of the abdomen. And now look at Flair trying to sit up. Piper with a knee right to the chest. Now Roddy Piper on the top rope, drops a fist. Piper on fire here, and look at that. Big right hand by Piper. Flair knocked right to the outside. Piper throwing Flair back in. He knows he can't win the match on the outside of the ring. Goes behind Flair, and now look at this. Roddy Piper. The end could be near here. Roddy Piper locking in the sleeper. The move he used to beat Hulk Hogan. Starrcade 96. And Flair may be out. Flair may be unconscious. If Roddy Piper goes for the cover on Ric Flair, there's no way he's going to get the shoulders up. Shoulders down, cover's made, and Roddy Piper will be going on to face Brock Lesnar in a quarter. No, he won't. Well, the only thing I can think there is Piper took a long time to go for the cover after releasing that sleeper hold. Maybe Piper just took a couple of seconds too long, and Flair managed to wake up just in time, and a back rake now by Flair. Flair going behind Piper, taking out the knee once again with that chop block. And now Flair really doing a number on the left leg of Roddy Piper. I bet Piper can't believe that the sleeper hold wasn't enough to put Flair away, but look at this, Piper still on his feet and fighting the man. Flair goes behind once again, punches to the spine of Piper. And now what has Ric Flair got planned here? Once again, more damage to the leg. Oh, and look at this, twisting the knee. Well, that could be a severe leg injury, and now Flair going after Piper's knee again. He senses weakness, and he's going to exploit it, just as he does best. Now Flair trying to put on the figure 4. Piper kicking him away. Piper backslide, shoulders down. Ric Flair can't get the shoulders up at the moment, and just about in the nick of time, Flair surviving that pinfall attempt. Chop by Piper, goes for a left hand. Flair blocking and knocking him down. And now look at Flair. I think he senses he's done a pretty good amount of damage to that leg, and now going to work on it, just stamping on it, trying to inflict as much damage on the leg as he possibly can. And now the cover by Flair, shoulders are down, leg is hooked. Oh, and Piper just about fighting up with that shoulder. Collar and elbow tie up now by Flair. Tries the Irish whip on Piper. Piper putting the brakes on. And now Piper slamming Flair's head into the canvas. And now going to the top rope, looking to hit a high-risk move to hopefully put this match to bed once and for all. Goes for the double axe handle. Flair moves out of the way. And now Flair from behind once again, taking the knee right from under Roddy Piper. And Flair, what the hell? Flair never goes to the top rope, but he does on this occasion. Beautiful elbow drop by Ric Flair. I don't think I've ever seen him execute a move off the top rope quite as successfully as that. And now Flair senses he can put an end to this match. He's going to try and lock in the figure 4 leg lock on Roddy Piper. And it's locked in. Look at Piper screaming in pain. Piper fighting for his life. Flair wrenching up on that knee. Can he hang on? No, he can't. Piper forced to tap out. Ric Flair, your winner here. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Unbelievable match between two legends, but on this occasion, the Nature Boy Ric Flair coming out victorious.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit, and it is a first round match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from West Memphis, Arkansas, and weighs in tonight at 317 pounds, Sycho Sid.
Sycho Sid captured the Pastgen Television Title back in December 2024. He lost that belt earlier this year to Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, and ever since then he's been on a quest to gain it back.
Introducing his opponent. He hails from Los Angeles, California, and weighs in tonight at 270 pounds, the masterpiece, Chris Masters.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting contest. Two very strong, powerful athletes. Chris Masters 6'5", 270. Sid at 6'9", 317. Of course, Chris Masters, another man you wouldn't normally associate with championship belts, but a very capable athlete, tremendous wrestler, and he is certainly capable of going all the way in this tournament. Going to have to get through Sycho Sid. He wants to advance to the quarterfinals. Here we see the second half of those brackets. Sycho Sid against Chris Masters, and then straight after this match, Triple H will be taking on the man known as Sting, battling it out for a place in the quarterfinals. And of course, the other two first round matches will take place tomorrow. We're really getting through this tournament now. The bell rings, the two men set to square off. Can Sycho Sid advance and keep his hopes alive of regaining that belt, or will Chris Masters have the opportunity to become a first-time champion? Nice start there by Masters, headlock and a punch. And although Sid the larger man, whoa, Masters getting a little bit overconfident there, and Sid punishing him for that mistake.
Rope break.
Although Sid is the bigger man, he's the more powerful of the two men. Only a 30-something pound weight advantage. Sid normally much bigger than his opponents. But look at that though, big Polish hammer by Sid, knocking Chris Masters down. Now Sid sending Chris Masters for the right off the rope. Beautiful power slam. You've got to believe Chris Masters' best chance putting away Sycho Sid is if he can lock in that master lock, but it's going to be easier said than done. Locking that hold in on the big man. Sid charged in there, big shoulder thrust to the midsection in the corner. Now Sid sending Chris Masters into the opposite corner, comes charging in with a vicious clothesline. Thus far, Masters has not been able to gain any sort of momentum or getting any sort of offense. Look at that, Sid knocking the referee down. Choke slam by Sid. Normally the setup to the power bomb, but the referee not on his feet. Now Sid sending Masters for the right off the ropes, big double X handle. Referee slowly getting back up, and now Sid picks up Masters. Vicious power bomb. While Masters completely unable to do anything against Sid, and now the cover's made, the shoulders down after the power bomb, and Sycho Sid is through to the quarterfinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Sycho Sid.
Sid advances to the quarterfinals and keeps his hopes alive, maybe regaining that coveted Pastgen belt. But up next, a fascinating contest between two of the biggest stars in the history of this business.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a first round match in the tournament to crown the new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Greenwich, Connecticut, and weighs in tonight at 265 pounds, Triple H.
Triple H, the current world heavyweight champion with, well, an inferior organisation. But still impressive to be able to hold that belt. Of course, course, if Triple H were to advance through this tournament to win the whole thing, he would have to give up that belt, but he said that belt is nothing but a trinket, nothing but a toy, and that the real World Championship, the real belt that matters, the only belt that matters in professional wrestling, is that Pastgen television title. Triple H would love to add that to his list of career achievements. Again, makes his slow, menacing approach to the ring. Is he going to keep that water down here tonight? That is the mystery. Well, no. The water comes out. He's going to get none of the hydrating benefits of that water by spitting it into the air. I'll tell you what, if this man was hydrated, I don't think anybody would be able to beat him. Biggest weakness. Hasn't drank any water 6 or 7 years and been hospitalised many times with dehydration as the game. He just won't drink that water.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Venice Beach, California, and weighs in tonight at 250 pounds. This is Sting.
The Stinger. Possibly the biggest star to ever come out of WCW. And certainly the fans are loving seeing the Stinger here, giving him a great ovation. What a dream match this is between these two. One of the biggest stars from one organisation taking on one of the biggest from another. A match we never really got to see. Well, we did kind of get to see it, but let's not talk about that. Place in the quarterfinals is up for grabs. Question is, who's going to come out on top here? Will it be the Cerebral Assassin, the King of Kings? Or will it be the man known as Sting? And look at that, Triple H looking to engage in a Roman Greco knuckle lock with a man known as Sting. And now look at Sting gaining an early advantage, kick to the gut. Oh, and look at Sting, he's fired up already. The Stinger going right after Triple H. Knocks him against the ropes. Stinger sends him for the ride. Big drop kick by Sting. Lateral press, shoulders down. This could be enough to send Sting into the quarterfinals of this tournament, but Triple H getting the shoulder up. I think it's going to take a lot more. Put a man like Triple H away. As now Sting though staying on him. Triple H goes behind. Nice reverse DDT. And now the game going to work on the leg of Sting. Notice some wrestlers just go all out attack and just try to hurt their opponent in any way. Triple H, it's always calculated. There's always a game plan. Very, very intelligent athlete. And that's why he has had so much success in his career. Sting getting to his feet there. Triple H is kicking that leg from out under him. Trying to put more damage on the leg. Sting kicking him away. Now shoulder blocked by the Stinger. And as I said, Sting going all out attack. And now Sting on the top rope, waiting for Triple H to get to his feet. Well, trying a crossbody, but Triple H well out of harm's way by the time he actually dove off. Stinger getting the shoulder up very quickly though. We're a long way away from a finish here. Both men have still got plenty left in the tank. As now Triple H going to work on the Stinger with strikes. Sting blocks the right hand. Nice right hand by Stinger. Kick to the gut. Sting sending Triple H into the corner. Comes running in. Maybe going for the Stinger splash. Triple H sticking an elbow up there and putting a halt to that attack. Now Triple H has his opponent perched on the top rope. What's he going to go for? Big superplex by the game. The superplex, a devastating move, but it takes nearly as much out of you as it does your opponent. Triple H back on his feet with a nice Harley Race-like knee. And now Triple H dropping a knee right across the bridge of the nose. Stinger getting to his feet, but gets knocked down immediately with a big clothesline. Triple H telling us, oh, the Cerebral Assassin isn't just some dumb nickname. He really is a calculated wrestler. And now a spine buster by Triple H. Shades of Double A, Arn Anderson, a man. He's actually giving some coaching and now dropping a knee once again across Sting's face. Thus far, Triple H firmly in control as he sends
Whoa, facebuster, the setup to the pedigree. Sting getting out of the way and maybe saving his hopes there of advancing in this tournament. Nice face crusher by Sting. And maybe Sting now looking to launch a bit of a comeback. Right hands to the face of the game. The Stinger on the top rope. Maybe he can be more successful on this occasion. Nice double axe handle by the Stinger. Triple H knocked out of the canvas. Sting on the top rope once again. Beautiful missile drop kick. Sting starting a bit of a comeback now. Sends Triple H into the corner. Stinger splash. Stinger splash in the corner. Sends Triple H in again. Nails another one. Things not looking good here for Triple H. Pulled back. Big knee to the gut. Sting really on fire here. He could have done enough to put Triple H away. Not going for the cover though. Collar elbow tie up by Sting. Nice side Russian leg sweep. Yeah, maybe he thinks he's done enough. The shoulders down, the lateral press. And Triple H just about sticking in there. What a turnaround this has been for the Stinger. Look at Triple H though catching that foot. Triple H now tries a move. Sting reverses it. Another face crusher by Sting. And now the Stinger looking to put Triple H away once and for all. That Scorpion Deathlock locked in. Triple H a long way away from the ropes. He must have to tap out here. Well, no, Sting releasing that hold. Very, very surprising move there. Now charges in Triple H duck. Facebuster by the game. The setup to the pedigree. Sting once again slipping out of the way. Right to the back by Sting. And now kicking the leg right from under Triple H. A couple of times Triple H has nearly put Sting away with that pedigree. But every time he somehow managed to find a way to escape. And now the Stinger on the top rope looking to hit a big splash. Triple H well out of the way of that move. Waistlock by the game. Sting elbows to the head, goes behind. And now Sting sends Triple H into the corner. Stinger splash. Another Stinger splash by the Stinger. And now Sting sends him for the ride off the ropes. Nice inverted atomic drop. I feel that the momentum has really shifted in this match. And now Sting diving off. Big splash. Oh no, the referee. He's not having a good night. That's twice tonight. He's been knocked off his feet and looks to be out of it. Nonetheless, the fight goes on. Nice clothesline by Sting. And now Stinger. The Scorpion Death Drop. The cover, but once again the referee has been knocked down. He's going to have a big lump on his head when he goes on tonight. The Scorpion Death Drop. Enough to finish Triple H off. Sting, you'll win it here. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the man called Sting.
Well, Stinger advances to the quarterfinals of this tournament. In a moment, let's take a look at the brackets as they stand. Yes, Sycho Sid and Sting go through. They will face off in the first quarterfinal on Saturday night. It'll be the third quarterfinal, but the first.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a first round match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Cameron, North Carolina, and weighs in tonight at 225 pounds, Jeff Hardy. Well, Jeff Hardy, another former champion, hoping to regain that coveted belt in this tournament. In one of our two final first round matches set to take place here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing his opponent. He hails from Silsbee, Texas, and weighs in tonight at 314 pounds, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
No, that is not an announcer's mistake, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Henry has really trimmed down in preparation for this tournament, but before we get set with this match, let's take a look at our final first round match is set to take place here tonight. Jeff Hardy taking on the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, and then straight after this match, the current non-wrestlers champion, Peter Griffin, set to square off against the largest athlete in the world, the Big Show. Mark Henry down to just above 300 pounds. Really been working on his cardio. He wants to gain
that Pastgen television title, and he knows that stamina is going to play a big part. And I've been hearing from a lot of the people that train with him in the gym. I know he may have leaned down to just above 300 pounds. He's still just as strong, and look at that. Jeff Hardy trying to knock down Mark Henry, trying to charge into him, had no effect, and now Mark Henry knocking Hardy down and really going to work on him. And now Henry trying to snap that spine. Camel clutch applied, and Jeff Hardy a long way away from the ropes. And that's a painful manoeuvre when applied by anyone with somebody with the strength and power of Mark Henry. Complete agony as Henry now sends Hardy for the ride off the ropes. Big side slam and a cover now by the world's strongest man. This one could be over very, very quickly. Hardy managing to fight out of that pin. And lives to fight on here, but not doing much fighting at the moment. Mark Henry really doing a number on Hardy. Mark Henry normally weighs in at about 400 pounds. That weight loss, you can see the effects. He looks really good, but look at that. Hardy crossbody manages to knock the big man off his feet, and now Hardy going to the top rope, looking to hit a big move. Beautiful missile drop kick by the charismatic Enigma. Hardy finally gaining something in this match, but he's got to stay on Henry here. Nice arm drag by Hardy. Tries the Irish whip, but look at this. Henry blocking that. Big clothesline by Henry. And a mistake by Hardy now allows Mark Henry to regain control. That hanging him upside down inside that turnbuckle. Henry now trying the Irish whip. Hardy managing to put the brakes on. Sends him into the corner. And look at this by Hardy. Whisper in the wind. Whisper in the wind. Could that be enough? Out of nowhere to put Mark Henry away. No, it won't. Look at the power. Look at the strength of Henry. 225 pounds is what Jeff Hardy weighs. Henry just threw him up in the air like he was nothing. And now Henry with a series of strikes, looking to wear down the charismatic Enigma Jeff Hardy. Henry picks him up. Look at this power, and just launches him right across the ring, spine first, hitting the canvas. Mark Henry may just be a couple of big moves away and putting the final nail in the coffin. Jeff Hardy's hopes are winning, but nice reversal by Hardy, taking the big man down. Now Hardy going to the top rope once again. Beautiful front drop kick. And there is desperation about that, but it's given Hardy a little bit of an opening here. Now goes behind, tries to roll up. Trying to catch the big man by surprise with a quick cover. And nearly did. Mark Henry only just getting the shoulders up after that, but look at that big clobbering overhand right. And Jeff Hardy back on the canvas and back at the mercy of the world's strongest man. As now Henry sends him into the corner, comes charging in. Hardy sticking the elbow up though, and look at this by Hardy. Nails the twist of fate. Now Hardy going up top. What's he gonna go for here? Tries the leg drop. Henry tried getting out of the way, but just caught the impact of that move right to the neck, the back of the neck. 1, 2, 3. And Jeff Hardy, with that leg drop right to the back of the neck of Henry, advances in this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Jeff Hardy. Your phenomenal underdog win by Hardy, and he will advance to the quarterfinals. He will be taking on whoever wins this next match. Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is our final first round match of the tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Quahog, Rhode Island, and weighs in tonight at 356 pounds, and he is the current non-wrestlers champion, Peter Griffin. I'll tell you what, Peter Griffin, he is a non-wrestler, but ever since winning that non-wrestlers championship, becoming the first champion, we've watched him week upon week defending that belt against new challenges, and it's been fascinating to see his progress. He has grown into quite the professional wrestler. Has really made big improvements, but he's got a big man who's got a face in this contest. Introducing his opponent. He hails from Tampa, Florida, standing 7 feet tall and weighing 500 pounds, the largest athlete in the world today, The Big Show. And as we said, Peter Griffin's had a lot of success competing against non-wrestlers. It'd be a big enough challenge facing a regular professional, but facing against this man at 7 feet, 500 pounds, The Big Show. Many decades of experience inside that square circle. On a rare occasion, Peter Griffin finds himself, the smaller man, giving up over 100 pounds in weight and nearly a foot in height. The odds do not favour Griffin in this match, and look at that, the power on full display. Griffin cannot rely, as he normally does, on power moves against this man. He's going to have to use his athleticism and his speed, something which he very rarely has to rely on. As now The Big Show really going to work on Griffin with clubbing blows right to the ribs, right to the midsection, sends Griffin from right off the ropes now, and a big boot. Griffin get back to his feet. Look at that nice duck by Griffin, and look at this power. Griffin side slam, cover.
1, 2.
Out of nowhere, Griffin pulling out a big move, but it wasn't enough to put the big man away. And now Griffin fighting The Big Show with those strikes. Tries going for a big shoulder block. Big Show getting out of the way. And now Big Show with a hand around the throat. Dropping the leg. And now the cover's made. This could be enough. We could have our final quarter finalist, but no. Well, Griffin, much more fight in him yet. I fear for not much longer the way The Big Show's going. Another leg drop by the big man. Griffin really in some peril here, as now The Big Show tries the Irish whip. Griffin putting the brakes on. Nice side kick by Griffin, and now Griffin really trying to fight back against this big man. Nice shoulder block, knocks The Big Show off his feet. Griffin now sending The Big Show into the corner. Slams his big cranium right against that turnbuckle. And what a plus it'd be for Griffin. He's already the non-wrestlers champion to become the Pastgen television champion as well. But The Big Show sticking the elbow up there, ringing his bell. And now The Big Show, big superplex off the top rope. Not messing about, he just wants to finish Griffin off with one big move. But look at that, Griffin getting to his feet at the same time. Nice takedown by Griffin on the top rope. Nails the double axe handle. Griffin going up top once again. Unfamiliar territory. Trails another big double axe handle though. Griffin really having to adapt his style here. I think Griffin had normally gone for that big splash, but I don't think it's going to have the same impact against a man that's nearly 150 pounds heavier than yourself. He's going to have to think of something else if he wants to try and put the big man away. Now Griffin on the top rope. Oh, and nails the big splash. Right off the top, across the spine of The Big Show.
1, 2,
Shoulders down, covers made, and Peter Griffin, the non-wrestlers champion, advances to the quarterfinals. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin couldn't rely on his normal finishing maneuver. He had to adapt it and come off the top rope, and he did it to perfection. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, that on Saturday night, Jeff Hardy and Peter Griffin will go one-on-one in our final quarter-final match. And that's everything over now. First round is done with. There are the 4 quarter-final matches. The first 2 of those taking place tomorrow night. Randy Savage taking on the British Bulldog.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. And it is a quarter-final match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen television champion. Introducing first, he hails from Sarasota, Florida, and weighs in tonight at 237 pounds, the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Well, Randy Savage, great win in his first round, and he's set to do battle here to try and gain a place in the semi-finals against another former champion. Of course, Randy Savage, the two men that he could potentially face in that semi-final match, he has defeated before. Randy Savage and the British Bulldog about to square off. The match straight after that, Brock Lesnar against Ric Flair. The two winners of those two matches facing the semi-final. Randy Savage has defeated Ric Flair before, back at WrestleMania 8, and earlier this year Randy Savage defeated Brock Lesnar, so we've got to believe that Randy Savage would be the firm favourite if he could come out victorious here.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Manchester, England, and weighs in tonight at 260 pounds, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog.
Well, we say Savage would be the favourite. This man, another former champion. The Bulldog was a great fighting champion, perhaps defended that Pastgen television title more than anybody during his reign. And he only came unstuck as champion when he faced Brock Lesnar. He'd love to potentially get a rematch with Lesnar if results go his way in this match and the other match. Of course, we could get a rematch of WrestleMania 8. It could be Savage against Ric Flair. Many possibilities, but we can talk about dream matches. All depends how these two matches go, and the British Bulldog will certainly fancy his chances. Certainly has the strength and power advantage over Randy Savage. But in terms of skill in that squared circle, you probably have to give the edge to Savage as the two men lock up. And look at this. Savage catching the Bulldog off guard there and winning that lockup exchange. Certainly caught Davey Boy by surprise, but Davey Boy going behind Savage now picks him up. Nice back suplex by the powerful British Bulldog. And now Davey Boy, maybe that was a wake-up call, losing in that lockup battle, and now appearing more aggressive. Sends Randy Savage for the ride off the ropes. Nice big boot by Davey Boy Smith, and now the cover's made. Lateral press. We could have our first semi-finalist here. And it's Savage managing to stick in there, and Davey Boy very nearly finishing this match early. Thus far it's been all Davey Boy Smith. Randy Savage has been struggling. If Davey Boy can keep this up, he will be certainly heading for the quarterfinals. Look at that though. Davey Boy sent him off the ropes. Randy Savage reversing into a neckbreaker. Now the Macho Man on the top rope, looking to hit a big move. Well, going for the elbow. I think perhaps Randy Savage saw that winning line in sight and perhaps saw it far too early there. He's going to have to do a lot more to Davey Boy Smith to keep him down long enough to nail that big Savage elbow, which would surely finish the match. Now Davey Boy comes charging into the corner. Nice reversal by Savage. Savage trying to move. Davey Boy going behind, picks him up, and another belly to back suplex. Now the Bulldog going to the top rope, maybe looking to hit that flying clothesline and finish this match off. But Savage getting out of the way. Knee to the gut by Savage. We've seen both men try and finish this match off, and both times they've been unsuccessful. Maybe a little bit overly keen to go in for the killers. Now Randy Savage with a cover, quick kick out by Davey Boy. Sometimes you can force the opportunity while you're in that ring, but you can't force it. That's when mistakes happen. You've got to wait for that opportunity to happen. Nice block by Savage. Right hand. Look at this real back and forth stuff between these two. Now Davey Boy going after him. Another block by Savage. A real brawl happening here now. Savage sending Bulldog for the ride off the ropes. Nice back body drop by the Macho Man. Savage sends him off the ropes once again. Comes charging in with a nice knee to the gut. Cover's made. Leg is hooked. And Bulldog will not even let him get a 2 count at the moment. A lot of fight and a lot of power still left in Davey Boy Smith. Savage has really turned his favours around in this one. He seems to have gained a lot more offense. And the momentum seems to have shifted here. Davey Boy Smith needs to do something to turn this around, or it's going to be in trouble. Look at this big pile driver. Oh, that could be enough to put Davey Boy away. Drop right on his head by that pile driver. And look at this, Davey Boy will not stay down. Collar and elbow tight by the Macho Man. Tries the Irish whip. Davey Boy putting the brakes on. Now sends Savage for the ride off the ropes. Comes charging in. Beautiful diving shoulder block by the Bulldog. Now going to the top rope. Comes diving off. Look at that. Going for the clothesline once again. But Savage seems to have that move well scouted. Well, this is anyone's game at the moment. And now Savage. The scoop slam. The setup to the Savage elbow. Davey Boy Smith down. Is Savage gonna nail it? Well, no. Davey Boy rolling out of the way, and Savage's feet did catch the back of Davey Boy, but it's the elbow that does the damage, and missed with that. Davey Boy just about managing to survive there, because if Savage would have hit that elbow to the torso of Davey Boy, this match would be over. Now Savage, another scoop slam. Macho Man going to try and hit the elbow properly this time. Coming off the top rope. Oh, look at that, Davey Boy. Davey Boy getting the knees up. Now Davey Boy on the top rope. Well, falling short. Real back and forth stuff between these two. And now Savage on the top once again. Oh, but taking far too long. Davey Boy slams him off. Now Davey Boy going to the top once again. Dives off. Beautiful elbow drop by the Bulldog. Not a move we normally see from him. Davey Boy going up top once again. Maybe finally he can hit that flying clothesline. Nailed Savage right across the face. Didn't quite get the full contact, but it was enough to knock him down. And it was enough. It was enough for Davey Boy to get the cover. Davey Boy Smith, your first semi-finalist.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog.
Well, Davey Boy Smith through to the semi-finals. Who will he face in that first semi-final match? We are about to find out. The winner of this match will be taking him on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is a quarter-final match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and weighs in tonight at 287 pounds, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar on the quest to become a three-time Pastgen Television Champion. Is the only man to have held that belt more than once. It'd be a record-extending third reign if Brock Lesnar could achieve that unthinkable goal. Of course, to be none of Lesnar's antics in this tournament. Remember, the commissioner has told Lesnar if he gets involved with any of the wrestlers in between belt time and matches, he will be removed from the tournament and be fired immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Charlotte, North Carolina, and weighs in tonight at 243 pounds, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Well, a lot of time will say one of the all-time greats, one of the legends, and that those phrases are thrown around a lot. I think if you could only apply it to one man, it'd have to be this man, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. More world championships than most people have had hot meals. And let me tell you, Flair may be the underdog going into this match against the phenomenal athlete that Lesnar is, but the amount of experience that Ric Flair has had, if anyone has been anyone over the past 4 or 5 decades in this business, they've been in the ring with that man there, and the majority of them he's defeated. Legends like Harley Race, Ricky Steamboat, the list goes on and on. With all that experience, Ric Flair might not be in his physical prime anymore, but he's picked up quite a lot of clever tricks over the years. He's forgotten more about this business than most people will ever remember. Brock Lesnar needs to be cautious against a man like Ric Flair, just because he's more powerful than him. Ric Flair's very smart, and look at that, Ric Flair trying to catch Lesnar by surprise, and he does this time with a kick to the gut. Oh, and look at Flair, the old trick. And look, Lesnar's completely suckered by that, falling for it. Now Lesnar going behind, waistlock, maybe going for a German suplex, but Flair managing to fight his way out. And now Flair going behind, roll up with a handful of the trunks there.
2.
And nearly catching Lesnar by surprise. Well, Flair really using all of his knowledge and experience here to keep Brock Lesnar at bay, something which many people fail to do. Now Ric Flair taking the knee out from Lesnar once again, really going to work on the leg of Lesnar. Oh, and look at that twist in the knee. Lesnar looks hurt at the moment. Oh, this is completely unexpected. Flair really capitalising on it, and now look at this, he senses the weakness. Lesnar certainly favouring that leg, and any weakness that Ric Flair can exploit, he's going to do exactly that. Flair really going to work on Lesnar. Lesnar can't even get to his feet here. This is a masterclass by one of the all-time greats of this sport. Well, now picking Lesnar up. I'm not sure how much of a wise move that is. Goes for the waistlock. Lesnar elbows, manages to slip out, goes behind Flair. Vicious German suplex by Lesnar. And Lesnar probably frustrated because spent a long time at the mercy of Ric Flair, something that he's not used to with any of his other opponents. A lot of aggression by Lesnar, comes charging in, shoulder block to the midsection. Irish whip sends Flair into the opposite corner, comes in with a shoulder thrust. Or maybe it's takeover time here for Lesnar. Ric Flair did pretty well at the start, but Lesnar taking over now, and the Nature Boy may not be able to withstand this level of punishment at his advanced stage. Nice sidewalk slam by Lesnar. And look at Lesnar, he's loving every minute of this. He loves inflicting pain and damage on his opponents. And now Lesnar looking to finish this match, going for the F5. Oh, but look at this, Flair. The wise veteran slipping out of that one. And now Flair going to the top rope. Don't do it, Rick. He does it though, and he does it beautifully. Nice front drop kick by the Nature Boy. And Flair once again with Lesnar down on the ground. I never expected this, and look at Flair going to work on that leg once again. Flair really torturing Lesnar, twisting that knee once again. Now Flair comes off the ropes, drops the knee right across the bridge of the nose. Lesnar now gets to his feet. Flair comes charging in. Nice stop by Lesnar, and now Lesnar collar and elbow tie up, tries the Irish whip, but Flair putting the brakes on. Flair with a kick to the gut, and look at that, the dirtiest player in the game. With that low blow, referee didn't see it, and now the Nature Boy. No way is he going to get this on Lesnar. There's no way. Flair repping the leg. He's got it on. Flair's got the figure four locked in. Centre of the ring. Nowhere for Lesnar to reach for the ropes. I can't hear myself think with the volume of this crowd, but wait a minute. Lesnar managing to somehow slip out of the figure four. But look at Flair, he's still got him on the ground, still going to work. If Flair could get that figure four back on Lesnar, we might have an upset here. Oh, but maybe trying, but Lesnar kicking him off, and a vicious clothesline now by Brock Lesnar. Oh, this doesn't look good for Flair. Trying to hyperextend the elbows, trying to snap the arm. Referee calling for a break in the ropes, and look at this, Lesnar refusing to break that hold.
3, 4.
Unbelievable. Lesnar using that 5 count to his advantage, and now just picking up the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the legend, with complete ease. Well, for a moment there I thought Ric Flair, we were going to see perhaps one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen on this channel, but it doesn't look likely now as Lesnar hashes his head into the turnbuckle. Vicious German suplex by Lesnar. Maybe Ric Flair's got one more trick up his sleeve. Lesnar goes for the spinebuster. DDT by Flair. The Nature Boy now chopping the bejesus out of Brock Lesnar. Oh, Flair trying to go for the suplex, but Lesnar blocking him. Lesnar blocking him. He can't get him up for that move. Collar and elbow tie up by Lesnar. Now Lesnar looking to go for the F5 again, and he nails it this time. Oh, that must be all she wrote. There's no way that he's kicking out of the F5 and he doesn't. What an effort by Ric Flair. But to no avail, Brock Lesnar advances to your semi-finals.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Brock Lesnar.
Well, as we've already said, British Bulldog will face the winner of this match, and let's look at the brackets there. As you can see, the first of our two semi-finals, British Bulldog and Brock Lesnar going one-on-one. And of course, tomorrow night, our other two quarterfinals will be taking place. Sting taking on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. And it is a quarter-final match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from West Memphis, Arkansas, and weighs in tonight at 317 pounds, Sycho Sid.
Sycho Sid, another former champion on a quest to regain that belt. He's got to win this match and two more. He wants to get his hands on that belt again, but this is going to be no cakewalk.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Venice Beach, California, and weighs in tonight at 250 pounds. This is Sting.
The Stinger set to do battle here. Another man throwing his hat into the ring, a man that has never held that Pastgen Television title, simply because he's never had the opportunity. Of course, the winner of this match will face the winner of our match that will immediately precede this match in the second semi-final. We're really getting close now to crowning that champion, finding out who it's going to be. But for those athletes in the ring, they're a long way away. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the 6'9", 317 pound Sycho Sid? Or is it going to be the man known as Sting? Well, look at that cheap shot by Sid. Aggressive start here by the big man, trying to catch Sid off guard and doing it pretty successfully. Sid really going to work on the Stinger. I don't even think the Stinger was expecting this. Look at that referee getting in the way, trying to nail Sting with that Polish hammer. With Sid at least picking the referee up, but he's still on Dream Street for the minute. Sid now sending Sting for the right off the ropes, nails Sting with a Polish hammer that time. Sid wants to get this one over with quickly. Choke slam by Sid. Well, there's not much life left in this match. Sycho Sid doing what he does best, and now looking to hit the powerbomb. But look at this, the Stinger. Just had a coughing fit. The Stinger managing to avoid the powerbomb, and now Sting going behind. Face crusher, sending Sid for the ride off the ropes. Beautiful, beautiful flapjack. Well, we thought we were going to get a minute-long match here. Stinger having other ideas. Stinger splash in the corner. And now Stinger comes running in. Maybe trying another Stinger splash. Sid getting the elbow up. Well, nobody holding back in this one. There's no pacing, there's no strategy. It's all out attack. Let's try and finish this match as quickly as possible. Let's not mess about. And now Sting going behind, picking up the big man. Nice atomic drop by the Stinger. Right to the back. And now kicking the legs out from under him. Now Sting going up top, looking to hit a high-risk move. Comes diving off. Big splash by the Stinger. Covers made, shoulders down. Oh, and Sid just about managing to get the shoulder up there in the nick of time. Sting really staying on the big man. Nice slingshot by Sting. Sending Sid in the corner. Comes charging in. He just can't nail that Stinger splash, can he? Sid will not allow it. But Sting staying on him. Nice abdominal stretch applied once again. But Sid managed to get hold of that rope. Now Sting on the top rope once again, waiting for Sid to get to his feet. Comes off, beautiful double axe handle. And now the Stinger. The Stinger looking to lock it in.
Can he get it on the big man? He certainly can. The Scorpion Deathlock. Sid a long way away from the ropes, and yes, he has to tap out. Well, what a match that was. But ultimately Sting will advance to the semi-finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the man known as Sting.
But he certainly is known as Sting. That is a fact that cannot be disputed. The question is, who's he going to face in that semi-final? We're about to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit.
And it is the final quarter-final match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen television champion. Introducing first, he hails from Cameron, North Carolina, and weighs in tonight at 225 pounds, Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy doesn't waste any time getting to the ring. The question is, will he waste any time getting the victory and advancing to the semi-finals?
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Quahog, Rhode Island, and weighs in tonight at 358 pounds. He is the current non-wrestlers champion, Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin, the current non-wrestlers champion, advanced to the quarterfinals with a phenomenal win, defeating a man over 150 pounds heavier than he is, the largest athlete in the world, the Big Show. To win that match, he had to rely on his speed and agility, something which he doesn't normally have to do, but against Jeff Hardy, he can go back to business as usual. Peter Griffin with over 100 pounds on Hardy. So a completely different game plan required for Peter Griffin here. Been no trouble for Hardy. The majority of the matches he's been in his career, his opponent has been a lot bigger than he has. He's made a lot of money out of defeating people a lot bigger, but look at that, Peter Griffin taking the initiative, going for the cheap shot and going right after Hardy. Second jump start we've seen tonight. There must be something in the water. Jeff Hardy with a nice drop kick though and knocking the big man down. Griffin gets to his feet. Hardy knocks him down once again with the same move. And now Griffin up once again. Tries a kick, catches the foot, but nice enziguri by Hardy. Now Hardy going up top, looking to hit a big move. But Griffin saw that one coming. Just shows you how much Peter Griffin has grown as a professional wrestler. That was pure instinct getting out of the way of that drop kick. And he did it beautifully. And now Jeff Hardy really going after the non-wrestlers champion, sending him for the ride off the ropes, but nice reversal by Peter Griffin and takes Hardy down. Smart move by Griffin, applying a hold, maybe not going to get the submission for this, but just wants to slow the pace down of the match. Peter Griffin doesn't want a fast-paced match, being the larger man, and look at this by Griffin, dropping the arse. Right across the chest of Jeff Hardy, that could be enough, 358 pounds, could have crushed the ribs, but Hardy, he is a resilient son of a gun, kicking out. Peter Griffin really staying on him, knowing Hardy not having the opportunity to nail any of those high-risk moves. He's going to have to create an opening for himself here. Now Griffin comes charging in. Nice elbow by Hardy. Now Hardy sending Griffin into the corner. Slams his head against the turnbuckle. Griffin goes tumbling down to the canvas, and now Hardy, maybe now he has an opening to try and hit a big move. Well, didn't quite get the full contact to that, but nailed Griffin enough to knock him off his feet. And now Hardy awaiting Griffin getting back up again. Goes for the missile drop kick. And Peter Griffin, such an intelligent wrestler. Nice roll up by Griffin. This could be enough to shock Hardy. No. Hardy managing to escape the quick roll up from the big man. And now look at Hardy. Jeff Hardy nails the twist of fate. Well, Griffin finding out this isn't the non-wrestlers, and now look at this, Hardy, corkscrew body attack off the top rope, not going for the cover, that is a mistake, and now look at this, Griffin getting to his feet. He's like a horror film villain. Griffin will not stay down, and look at this, the big splash off the top rope by the 358-pound Griffin. An unbelievable Peter Griffin advances to the semi-finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Peter Griffin.
Well, unbelievable. Peter Griffin called a non-wrestler, but 2 victories now. He's beat the Big Show, he's beat Jeff Hardy. I'm not supposed to pick people I want to win or think will win, but Peter Griffin has to be my odds-on favourite for winning this whole thing. And there you see the draw tomorrow night. The British Bulldog will go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar in our first semi-final match. And then the following...
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. And it is a semi-final match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen television champion. Introducing first, he hails from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and weighs in tonight at 287 pounds, Brock Lesnar.
Well, Brock Lesnar has certainly had an impressive showing in this tournament, a tournament that only exists because he necessitated it, injuring Goldberg in a backstage assault. Of course, he lost that belt to Goldberg, but Goldberg forced to vacate the title due to no longer being able to defend it. And Lesnar's giving himself an opportunity and creating the necessity for this tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent. He hails from Manchester, England, and weighs in tonight at 260 pounds, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog.
Oh, a real grudge match, and Davey Boy Smith really has something to prove in this one. Davey Boy, another former champion, and he defended that belt with honour and integrity until Brock Lesnar defeated him for that belt. There you see the tournament draw. We're really getting to the business end of the tournament now. Bulldog against Lesnar here tonight, and then tomorrow night the man known as Sting will be taking on the non-wrestlers champion Peter Griffin. Great ovation as always for the British Bulldog, and he was never happy losing that belt to Lesnar the way he did. He feels it was a poor showing and he's capable of more, and I'm certainly inclined to agree with him on that. Davey Boy Smith really got a point to prove in this one. Question is, who's going to get the opportunity? Will Lesnar get the opportunity to become a 3rd-time champion? Or can Davey Boy overcome the odds here and become a 2-time champion? Lesnar's the only man to have held that belt on more than one occasion. Davey Boy would love to become the 2nd man to achieve that milestone. And look at Davey Boy now going behind Lesnar, comes behind. Nice backbreaker by the Bulldog. Very, very early days in this one, but a good start from Davey Boy Smith. Now Davey Boy sending Lesnar for the ride off the ropes. Look at that though, Lesnar managing to slip behind. Nice German suplex. And now Lesnar looking to nail a bit of ground and pound on someone that many people call pound for pound the strongest man to ever set foot in a wrestling ring. Lesnar really going to work on the Bulldog with strikes. Goes behind Davey Boy. Nice side slam by Lesnar. And it was earlier this year that Lesnar defeated the Bulldog and took that belt away from him. He's had a burning desire ever since to gain it back, and this is the first real opportunity Davey Boy has had. There was no rematch clause in his contract back then. He lost the belt, that was it. As now Lesnar sends Bulldog for the right off the rope. Goes for the spine buster. Nice reversal into a DDT by Davey Boy. Now charges in. Nice shoulder block, knocking Lesnar down. And Davey Boy going up top, looking to hit a big move. Davey Boy nails the flying clothesline. This one could be over. Shoulders down, lateral press. An unbelievable Lesnar just about managing to get the shoulder up. He's finished every opponent he's had in this tournament off with that move, but it wasn't enough to finish Lesnar off. Davey Boy staying on him though. Comes charging at the corner, another clothesline by Davey Boy Smith. Now sends him in again, going for a 3rd one. Beautiful drop kick by the Bulldog. What athleticism from the 260 pounder. Davey Boy thus far firmly in control. Lesnar looked to be struggling against a more powerful man. A much better showing here from Davey Boy. Now goes for the scoop slam. And maybe, just maybe, you can nail that running power slam on Brock Lesnar and finish this match off. But Lesnar managing to slip out. Nails him with another vicious German suplex, dropping the Bulldog right on his head.
And now Lesnar with an opportunity to gain something back in this match, stomping on the torso of Davey Boy Smith. A match that could really go either way. Now Lesnar sending him into the corner, vicious clothesline, and Davey Boy sent tumbling down to the canvas. Lesnar sends him into the corner once again, comes charging in. Look at that, Bulldog sticking the elbow up. Failed to capitalise on that though, and now Lesnar. Another German suplex, and Lesnar stays in control. Potentially an opening there for Davey Boy Smith to get something in. Just couldn't make the most of that opening, and now Lesnar looking to finish the match, going for the F5, but Bulldog wriggling out, taking Lesnar down. Bulldog determined not to be beaten again by the same man. Keeps trying to nail that running power slam, but every time he does, Lesnar manages to get away from him. Nice elbow by the Bulldog. Another collar and elbow tie-up, tries the Irish whip. Lesnar puts the brakes on, and now Lesnar picking Davey Boy up once again. And this time nails the F5. Well, it looks very unlikely now that Davey Boy Smith's going to advance to the final. And it certainly is impossible now. Brock Lesnar, your winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Brock Lesnar.
Well, certainly a much better showing, and what a run the Bulldog has had in this tournament, but ultimately it just wasn't enough, and Lesnar victorious here. He advances to the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a second semi-final match in the tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. Introducing first, he hails from Quahog, Rhode Island, and weighs in tonight at 358 pounds. He is the current non-wrestlers champion, Peter Griffin.
Well, Peter Griffin, what a run this man has been on. A lot of people may see the non-wrestlers championship as maybe a lesser or an inferior belt, but he has certainly eliminated that myth with his performances. A victory over the Big Show, and of course in the quarterfinals, a victory over another former champion, Jeff Hardy. Peter Griffin really holding his own in this tournament. Just one more winner getting to the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing his opponent. He hails from Venice Beach, California, and weighs in tonight at 250 pounds. This is Sting.
The Stinger, one of the all-time greats in the sport of professional wrestling. I'll tell you what, he's been on a great run himself. Victories over Triple H, and of course in the quarterfinals against Sycho Sid. Both of these men look unbeatable at the moment, but one of them isn't going to look unbeatable at the end of this match. It's really too close to call between these two. One thing is guaranteed though, whoever wins this match and goes on to the final will make a fantastic opponent for Brock Lesnar. We started with 16 men. After this match there's only going to be 2 remaining. Who is going to be one of those 2? Well, look at that, the Stinger showing his power. The big 350 odd pound Peter Griffin getting overpowered by the Stinger in the early going. Lateral press by Sting, shoulders down, and very, very early to go for a cover there on Griffin. The Stinger starting fast, starting with aggression and trying to build some momentum. Comes into the corner, but look at that, Griffin getting the elbow up. Nice reversal by Griffin. Now picking the Stinger up. And what a powerhouse Peter Griffin is. Such a versatile wrestler as well. We saw in that match against the Big Show. He's not just about power. When required, he can adapt his style to try and defeat any opponent, and that's what has made him such a great champion with that non-wrestler's belt. Griffin goes behind now with a nice neck breaker on the Stinger. Could Griffin do the unthinkable? Could he go all the way in this tournament and hold both belts simultaneously? That is the question as he comes charging in again and really giving Sting a lot of problems in this match. A real hard time. And now look at this, the big side slam. He's finished many men off with that move. Shoulders down, covers made, and the Stinger. Stinger managing to get the shoulder up and lives to fight on. Look at that. Stinger trying a reversal, comes charging in, but Griffin ducking out of the way, and now back on offense. Look at this, picking the Stinger up. Nice scoop slam there by Griffin. Well, this has been all Peter Griffin thus far. Sting, if you had to guess which one of these was not the professional wrestler, point a finger at Sting, because Peter Griffin has been absolutely unstoppable in this. Sting can't even get a look in this match, as Griffin continues this dominant performance. Now sends Sting into the opposite corner. And now look at this, the huge posterior, the biggest posterior in the business, as Griffin now has Sting down on the canvas, goes to the middle rope. Look at that, the bonsai drop. And Griffin full of confidence, he's got every right to be.
1, 2.
This one could be over here, and Stinger just about sticking in there. Griffin with a look of disbelief on his face. I thought he had it finished there, and so did Peter Griffin. But Sting with a little bit more left in the tank. He needs to do something soon. And maybe this is it now. The Stinger was striked, trying to brawl with a big man. And look at this, Griffin sent tumbling down to the canvas. And now the Stinger comes charging in, takes him down, right hand, right to the face. And those extremely durable glasses of Peter Griffin, completely unbreakable. Sting now going to the top rope, but Griffin getting there first. It's been a nightmare thus far for Sting. Look at that though. Going for the nether regions. Now the Stinger comes charging in. Stinger splash. Sting now Irish whip, sending Griffin off the ride for the ropes. And making me muddle my words up. But look at this, Griffin back on his feet and fighting. Now sends Sting for the ride. Picks him up, another side slam and a cover.
1, 2.
Could Griffin be heading to that final nearly? Very, very nearly. But Sting somehow staying in this match. I think anybody else took this level of punishment from Griffin, they'd be finished off by now. But Stinger really resilient. Now comes charging in, goes to the top rope, looking to hit a big move on Peter Griffin as he comes diving off. Well, hits the big splash, but didn't really get a full contact to that. He's delivered that move a lot better on previous occasions. He's going to have to execute a move a lot better than that to finish Griffin off. Goes behind with a face crusher though, does Sting. Just trying to gain his way back into this match. The Scorpion Deathlock. Well, that was completely out of nowhere.
1, 2.
Sting pulling off the Scorpion Deathlock out of nowhere. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got our second finalist.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, the man known as Sting.
Well, that was a real out of the blue ending there. Looked as if Peter Griffin was firmly in control, but Stinger out of nowhere pulling out that devastating Scorpion Deathlock, and there you see. Tomorrow night we will be crowning a new Pastgen Television Champion with Brock Lesnar. Make it a record extending third reign, or will the man known as Sting prevail and walk out the new Pastgen Television Champion? Well, welcome ladies and gentlemen to what should have been a historic event, the final of the tournament, the 16-man tournament to crown a new Pastgen Television Champion. But before we get started with proceedings, unfortunately, well, you'll see it in a moment, we've got some CCTV footage from a local bar, and well, just take a look. Well, as you can see there, the Stinger celebrating getting to the final, boogie woogieing on down in a local bar, and he was really enjoying himself. But look what happened here. This is CCTV footage from the bar, and a masked individual. Well, let's be honest, we know it's Brock Lesnar. That's got to be Brock Lesnar, really laying waste to the Stinger. Gorilla Monsoon would say, a Pearl Harbor job. Look at that, knocking the music off. The Stinger was really enjoying that and really getting into the zone for the final, and suffering a vicious assault in that bar. And nobody knows the condition of Sting. And here comes the man that, well, the issue is, yes, if Brock Lesnar got involved with another wrestler outside of match time, the commissioner said he would be disqualified from the tournament and would be fired. But We all know that's Brock Lesnar. It moves like Brock Lesnar. It's got the same build as Brock Lesnar. But with him having the wherewithal to wear the balaclava and the full bodysuit, how can you prove it's Brock Lesnar? And unfortunately, well, he's going to still get to come out here for this final. The same thing he did to Goldberg, the same reason we needed the tournament. And he's gone and done the same thing again to a man who looked very, very likely to beat him, but you never know. Sting, he's still going to come out here, he's still going to fight. And listen to this ovation for the Stinger. Well, where is the Stinger? Well, this doesn't look good, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I don't believe this. I told them, do not let Brock Lesnar into this tournament. What will happen? And look exactly what has happened. The Stinger clearly in no condition to perform, and oh, for God's sake, they're going to just present the belt to him. If anything go worse with this tournament, this is a complete disaster. And look at that cocky son of a gun in the ring now. Oh, well, that's great. Now the power's gone out. If somebody took a dump in the middle of the ring, that's the only thing that could go worse here with this show. Wait a minute. That's music. Or maybe the power didn't go out. The Stinger is here. And Brock Lesnar looks like he's seen a ghost. I guess this match is still on. Well, we're still going to have our final match here in this tournament to crown a new champion. And God forbid it's Brock Lesnar. Come on, Stinger, come through. We've got no idea what sort of condition Sting is in. After that vicious assault at the hands of the man he stares down in the ring now. And look at Stinger trying to launch an attack. Lesnar blocking the kick. Vicious clothesline by Lesnar. And maybe Stinger just shouldn't have stepped into the ring in the condition he's in. Now Lesnar, F5. Well, mistake by Sting. He shouldn't have entered the ring after that vicious assault he suffered. And Brock Lesnar, well, maybe not. What? Nobody kicks out of the F5. But somehow the Stinger did. But Lesnar just staying on him at the moment, and Sting unable to delay the inevitable here. Surely Brock Lesnar's going to become a 3-time champion. It's disgusting. Do anything he can to keep hold of that belt, and now Lesnar looking to put the final nail in the coffin here of the Stinger. Yeah, nails another F5. And now Lesnar going to the top rope. What the hell is he doing? Tries the shooting star press. Completely misses Sting. And now Sting back on his feet. Back fighting. Oh, this is more like it. Sting with him perched on the top rope. Hooks the arm. Big back suplex right off the top. Oh yeah, the Stinger. He's got plenty in the tank here. Comes charging in. Beautiful clothesline. Lesnar did everything he could to try and gain an advantage over the Stinger, but it doesn't seem to have worked. It seems to have only angered him. Beautiful missile dropkick off the top rope. And look at him go. Stinger now sending Lesnar into the corner, comes charging in. Beautiful clothesline. Lesnar stays on his feet. Sends him into the opposite corner, and a Stinger splash.
Sting on fire here as he nails another Stinger splash on Lesnar, and Lesnar looks hurt now. Sting sends him for the ride off the ropes, picks him up, inverted atomic drop. Well, Lesnar in real trouble. Gets to his feet, Sting with a one-handed face crusher. Listen to this capacity crowd, they're loving every second of this. And now Sting, the Scorpion Deathlock. Have we got a new champion? You're damn right we do. Thank goodness for Sting.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner and the new Pastgen Television Champion, Sting.
Well, unbelievable stuff from the Stinger. Brock Lesnar tried to take him out permanently, but it didn't work. It only fired up the Stinger more. And now, thank goodness, Lesnar will not walk away from this tournament with that belt. The Stinger prevails. He is our new champion. What a moment this is.